Market conditions remaining bullish in this bull market. Bull market rank 25.70. Starting to see a little bit of weakness here. I'll show you in a couple different locations. Buy-sell ratio dipping back down, still 2 to 1, 2.08 to 1. Also seeing the market indices, S&P 500, just pausing right here. It's just kind of settling in this trend area now. Not a lot of catalyst quite yet to push it one way or the other, but still in that upper range. We're seeing that for the most part across the board. We are seeing technology, seeing NASDAQ continuing to move well, bouncing off of that 495 location and really attempting to make a breakout here. If we saw a good solid breakout across the board on NASDAQ, Dow, S&P 500, let's take a look at the Dow. We could see some continued momentum here throughout the rest of the month. Typically, again, December is a bullish month. TLT, let's look at the bond market. Long into the yield curve is actually starting to bounce back up again. We've talked about that where we're seeing bonds rally. That means interest rates are dropping, and that is what we want to see for the economy and the stock market and everything. Lower interest rates are they're good until they're not, right? That's the battle that we've been dealing with. Is low rates can create inflation because there's economic conditions are so good, and that's the battle that the Fed is still dealing with. Inflation and interest rates. So we're seeing SHY, which is that short end of that yield curve, continuing to find some support right around that $82 range. Sectors, if we jump over, this was the one here, starting to see a few little cracks where we're seeing more moving into this hold range. Got a few more in shifting into this downtrend range. This is on sectors. If we jump over and actually let's look at commodities because we are seeing gold holding support right here. 243 is that support range. It's stuck inside of this 246 to 240 range, 236 to 382 location. We'll see if it finds resistance or support in one of those locations. Just kind of stuck right there in the middle right now on GLD. SLV, which is silver, same story, finding some support. So both of those are in areas where they could get a bounce and potentially could start to shift momentum. And if the market starts to pull back, we may see some buying back into those areas as well. USO had a decent move yesterday as well. So we could, as we're seeing market conditions weaken just slightly based on the S&P really not doing much, just kind of sitting there, but we're seeing that those sectors starting to roll over a little bit and a little bit of a pop here in oil. Let's watch gold, SLV, see if we get a pop on those in the next couple of days as well. But just keep an eye on that. We know that market conditions, the fact that we are in the stratosphere still, we're just clear up in these ranges. We're getting flat momentum, and the probability of us continuing the strength of this momentum without some kind of a retracement or a pullback, that has to be accounted for. So be aware of market conditions in your allocation towards the size of positions you're dealing with, the size of trades you're putting on, and the number of trades you're putting on. In terms of cash and portfolio size, you could use something in this range where you're 30, 40%. Again, this is 100% based on risk tolerance. What are you willing to accept? What kind of cash levels do you want to have? How many holdings do you want to be able to manage at the same time? If all that's too much, then make sure you're trading smaller. Okay, make your risk $10 if you need to be able to practice and trade in some practice portfolios, build up that confidence level to manage these trades and manage the portfolio based on where the market conditions are at. Let's jump over and look at some new buys. CLS in the top end of that list, a nice confirmation bar. CLS is a big player in the AI space with the in that electronic area. Definitely have some demand here in the last 12 months. You're seeing that move from the 30s to the 80s. So it's jumping back into that new bullish zone. The other one I want to take a look at was there's always some nice looking stocks, and they're always fun to go through and look at. And there may be times where you pick up a little bit better pattern that suits your level of comfort. Maybe it's a setup that's got a little bit more solid bar. We want to try and find good solid bars to the upside to be looking for additional confirmation. Here's another example of a stock that has moved aggressively back into this bullish zone, having some retracement right here and then moving back up. Not huge volume, but starting to move that direction. And that's what you're going to find primarily in that list. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.